Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto was the first Otsutsuki to ever exist. Remember to get this one too 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new What Ifs over the other channel guys. Yes, that's right. I indeed have 3 more channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. And I created a new series, What If Naruto Was Neglected, with Chaos Magic, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy guys. So without further ado or wasting any more time, don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post. How about we jump right into this brand new episode? Let us begin now guys. So the last part that we left off, Mito was participating in the Chunin exams. Neji Hyuga and Naruto were now wanted criminals of the Hidden Leaf Village, as neither of them had been found. Yes, they weren't able to find them. The clan was not aware that Hiruzen had spoken to Naruto before he had left, as their conversation entailed Hiruzen telling Naruto where exactly he found him. Upon entering that spot, Naruto was taken away, as Neji and Chiyoko could not find Naruto, not one bit. And now the Chunin exams was taking place within the Hidden Leaf. As Mito went up against her opponent, it was Temari of the Sun. A lot of people gained a lot of respect for Mito during the battle, as the girl that they saw as a demon was now fighting as a shinobi of the village, and she came out on top, showing her strength. Unfortunately though, the invasion took place. As the thing started up, there was a violent show of light that emanated from where Naruto was found by Hiruzen. Hiruzen didn't have time to focus on that though, as he found himself locked in a battle between Orochimaru and the former Hokages, as he found himself fighting to keep on living. While that was going on, he finally arrived. But he wasn't alone. There was an unconscious woman hanging over his shoulder. He arrived down in Konoha like a benevolent being descending from the heavens. The ninjas that saw him tried to target him, but they found themselves on the raw end of facing someone that was way above their level. He walked with confidence as he strode through the village. The sheer essence that he weighed, the power that leaked from him, put many to shame, as many started to collapse. His actions were ruthless, as he sliced down some ninjas. They did not stand a chance in hell, as he crushed them like they were absolutely nothing before him. In actuality, they were nothing in front of him, as he was above the level of a god. However, he was weakened, greatly so, and even in his weakened form, they were still nothing that they could do to compare to his strength. That is when he saw the massive One Tails form. His intention was to take the beast out from here, but he saw the massive toad, and he knew who was on top of it. It was Mito. So he did not intervene, as he knew that she would be able to handle it, and the people of the village need to see that. She was a well-respected girl that deserved their respect. She's been fighting for it for years now. It's about time that they give it to her. Unfortunately though, Hiruzen's soul was being taken by the Shinigami. However, both Shinigami and Hiruzen was rather shocked as Naruto arrived and gripped onto Hiruzen's soul, shocking all of them. He was a being that was able to even handle another soul like it was nothing. The Shinigami was not pleased by that, as he looked towards Naruto. His words could not be comprehended by a normal human, but Naruto wasn't normal, or was he a human as he spoke. The Shinigami spoke of something rather dreadful that Naruto was going to have to face, and he spoke about Naruto's demise, because, unlike everyone else, the Shinigami could not see Naruto's counting clock. Whenever looking at everyone else, the Shinigami could tell the exact moment they would draw their final breath. But he could not see that on Naruto because he knew what Naruto was, as they seemed to have interacted before. Naruto was a being that was brought into this universe by the very essence of the universe itself, so his power was great. But now he was severely weakened, and the Shinigami seemed to be delighted by what was going to happen, his possible demise. However, he told Naruto that his great sacrifice did not stop what was coming. Whatever it was, though, Naruto did not seem to be worried, not in the slightest, as he stood firm on his belief that he would be able to handle it. In the state that he was in, he wasn't able to take the soul away from the Shinigami because it was bonded to him. Yes, Hiruzen already sacrificed his soul in order to try to take down Orochimaru and stop the former Kages, as Naruto allowed him to rest. However, Naruto was able to release Hiruzen's soul freely. The Shinigami was angered by that, suddenly releasing a large portion of his power. He bonded Hiruzen's soul to the pure world and released him in a life of peace and prosperity, where he can be with his fallen wife and the ones that he lost in the past. The Shinigami wasn't able to make contact with Naruto, but it would love the day once his demise finally came, and it would be there to devour his soul. Naruto then turned his wrath upon Orochimaru. As Naruto took on Orochimaru and the Stone Ninjas, he annihilated each and every one of them, ripping them apart like they were absolutely nothing, creating dimensions, literally shrinking attacks, multiplying attacks. He was a monster. He crushed them. Naruto then held his hand out and summoned a large tree in the center of the village that absorbed every single Sound Ninja, as it breathed life back into every that fallen. Yes, the life was exchanged for another. Everyone was shocked as they watched their loved ones that they lost, their friends, their comrades, return back to the land of the living. Naruto was then gone, as no one could find him. Mito was able to see him as she was shocked. He looked like Naruto, but he was much older. Even Kakashi was shocked by him. He was different completely, like another person the way he spoke. Naruto also went to pay Sasuke Uchiha a visit, as he was able to rip Orochimaru's soul cleanly out of the mark like it was nothing. He then attended the council meeting, appearing out of nowhere. The Anvus drawing their weapons, but he was not here to fight. Having his final conversation with Hiruzen, Naruto promised that he would keep the village safe, as he was here to make sure that all of the threats were annihilated. Naruto slaughtered Danzo, ripping his arm off and ripping the eye out of his sockets. He then told Hayashi that he would be stepping down until the rightful heir of the clan was trained to properly take over. Hayashi knew who he was talking about, but he refused, as Naruto told him that this was not up for discussion, and he showed him by releasing a portion of his power. As Naruto told Jiraiya to go and find the next Hokage, Jiraiya was shocked that the kid knew what was on his mind. Well, he wasn't a kid anymore, as Jiraiya was going to take Mito with him. Naruto's intention was not to take over the village, as they were all shocked that he was able to revive the dead, and being a Hyuga member, they could not fully get involved with clan history or clan politics, as Naruto was going to be taking over the Hyuga clan, and he was showing a show of power to do so. He made a promise to the old man, and he was going to see to that promise that he made sure it became a reality. Unlike Hiruzen and the others, he did not fear any repercussions, so ending Danzo was nothing to him. He wiped him off the face of the earth. As Naruto then returned back to the clan, and committed genocide on several of the members. Yes, he wiped them out. All those that choose to make the clan worse, Naruto erased them. In the process, he also read Hayashi's memories. It was just as he thought, as Naruto had remembered something that Hisashi had said. But he never truly believed that it was reality until now. That is the only reason why Hayashi was still drawing breath. So yeah guys, basically let's left off, you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself so to begin this new episode. She slowly started to wake up as consciousness slowly started to come to her. As she felt confusion. Yes, that was the first emotion. Confusion because of where she was. And she was awake. Fully awake. Not semi-awake, trapped away in a seal. She was actually awake. Her pupilless eyes immediately snapped open as she realized that she was on a bed. Her long white hair flowing behind her. Her gaze immediately taking everything. The room that she was currently situated in. When she noticed someone standing at the window, simply gazing through it. Realizing who the person was as she took stock of the individual. A bone formed in the palm of her hand. Yes, this wasn't a normal bone though. It was a very special, powerful bone. She aimed it towards the individual as she fired. However, the person was ready and they reacted as they dodged. The bone slammed into the wall. The person turned to reveal that it was Chiyoko. Chiyoko Otsutsuki turned. Well, that's new, she said. In the bed, just waking up was Kaguya, as she was ready to go the moment that she saw her. Where am I? Kaguya said, her gaze hardening as she looked toward Chiyoko. She believed that she was taken back. That she was taken back to be punished. I know what you must be thinking right now. And no. And I'm not going to take you back to them. We both know what will happen if I do. So, calm down, Chiyoko said, looking towards her. First of all, there's a lot that you don't know. Kaguya narrowed her gaze, not trusting her. I can see that you don't trust my words. However, feel what is around you, she said as she stopped talking. Kaguya spread her senses and surprise. She was on her nursery, the planet where she brought her sons into the world. She looked at Chiyoko, looking confused. You're probably wondering why I haven't dragged you back. As I said, there's a lot that you don't know, explained, Kaguya said, still not trusting her. She knew Chiyoko quite well. Yes, she knew her quite well. You believe me to be a part of the Otsutsuki clan, a part of the weaker members. After all, the both of us would be sacrificed towards the god tree in order to produce the fruit, to produce pill for the stronger members. But the reality of that happening was never one that I would condone for myself, because you see, unlike many members of our clan, I was able to be there to understand it all. The revered God that you all claim that you want to be, to access the power, to gain true godhood, to transcend your physical form, to become a being of power itself. Shibai Otsutsuki. He's my brother. A shocked look was on Kaguya's face. Kaguya was old. Yes, she was old. However, her age did not compare to Shibai or anything close. That was a legend that was told to be a very long time ago. And yet she could not see an ounce of lie. She could tell because of her eyes, but Chiyoko was not lying to her. How are your words truthful? This cannot be possible, she said. And how did you free me, she asked. I wasn't the one that freed you. Your freedom was actually A rupture because of my father's power. A rupture? And your father? Kaguya said, confused. As I said, there's a lot that you don't know. I'm willing to explain it to you, as long as you don't attack me again, Chiyoko said, looking towards her. I will put aside my issues for now. Tell me everything that I do not know, Kaguya said, as she did not like the fact that she was not in the loop. She thought that Chiyoko was a weak member just like her, but it seems that she was wrong. First of all, the one that started your line was also my sister, and her name was Haruka. She was the one that created the first set of Otsutsukis that were from your line. Chiyoko said to Kaguya. The Otsutsukis had paired themselves off, the stronger members, so they could reproduce in order to bring powerful members a part of their group. Given the fact that they paired off just like the Hyugas on this planet. However, each house possessed members with one leader at the front. As they went around and gathered fruits, and they returned home with them, Kaguya was a part of Momoshiki's house, who was in charge of this section, as her betrayal was an insult to him and made him look bad. It was his goal to punish her by ending her life in the most painfulest way possible. For her treachery against him, so no other a part of their house would ever do the same. Some houses had some members that had stronger members than the head house member. However, they went by the bloodline, so it did not matter if they had stronger members. The bloodline was the one that ruled. The bloodline passed down from the older generation. There was 10 of them, and these 10 stood as a hierarchy of power. They stood as a council, as they came together to make sure that the clan did not implode upon each other, because there was a lot of bad blood and a lot of war going on, as all of them still had that dream and that hope to one day devour enough fruits, to one day consume enough to surpass their limits and become a true god. However, that was never possible for any of them. Kaguya was shocked. The only reason why they heard the rumors, they heard words about that, was because of Shibai. However, Shibai was her father's firstborn. Shibai was stronger than all of them, and he possessed qualities that none of them possess. Her sister was the one that created them. Her sister could not will them into existence like what her father did. So they would never achieve that level. They would never transcend their physical form. They would never become true gods. But because of that, it had led to a lot of bad blood. None of them truly ascending. Even other members branching off and running away. It might seem like Kaguya was the first, but it was not. But the others that ran away, they were all caught. And they were killed in the most brutalist way possible. It was all the head members of the house, as they did this to show the others that they should not step out of line. Kaguya lay there, shocked by this realization. Every single word that came out of Chiyoko's mouth was truthful. None of it was lies. As she was truly shocked. Wait, the way you speak about him. You were not the one that accidentally freed me. It was your father, wasn't he? Yes. He's going by the name Naruto now. He's never truly named himself. He never truly had one. We all just called him father. Even that's a different story entirely. But he does want to speak with you. While that was going on, as Naruto was walking with Neji was still absolutely shocked. It wasn't long since he returned. Despite all the things that he'd seen, Neji was still shocked to see Naruto like this. Yes, flashback. Both Neji and Chiyoko arrived, as they went straight toward the source that Chiyoko could sense. Neji was also different as well. Chiyoko knew that her father cared for Neji, so she made sure that he would survive. She empowered him with her own power, causing Neji to go through structural changes, having the power of Otsutsuki coursing through his veins. She did not give him chakra, she empowered him. It was unusual. First of all, his hair changed. It turned white. His eyes became more pronounced. His Byakugan seeming to evolve. His bodily structure remained the same, but Neji felt ridiculously powerful, as his power seemed to have just skyrocketed in minutes. He was shocked. They spent the next couple of months searching throughout the galaxy, as they could not find Naruto. Chiyoko went to several places that she remembered visiting with her father a long time ago, wondering if his underground runes had sent him somewhere else, or seals. They had the same meaning, runes or seals. Neji was shocked, as he never thought there would be a possibility of ever leaving his home world and exploring vast different worlds. He was shocked by the kind of people that he saw. However, every single one of them were fearful when they saw them. Yes, the Otsutsukis had made a horrible name for themselves. The moment they saw them, they cowered in fear, they ran away. It seems like the only planet that wasn't aware of the dangerous existence of Otsutsukis was his. They spent the next 6 months doing that, losing hope until Chiyoko sensed a large signature, as she felt it. So she quickly returned back to the elemental nation. As Chiyoko saw him, she said, "Father." She saw the look in his eyes. She couldn't help herself as she rushed towards him. Chiyoko hugged him. Otsutskis had no empathy. They had no family ties or feelings. They were bred that way. They were grown that way. That is why majority of them were emotionally fragile, being overpowered by something that they seen as less than themselves would damage their psyche. Seeing true love and emotions would get them to focus on their own feelings and easily become susceptible to other emotions. It was just like Kaguya, seeing countless planets fall, as she wanted something more than this. She wanted a home, she wanted family. She wanted actual friends. Otsutskis could not call themselves actual friends. It was all about power. Power this, power that. They were just a ruthless clan of monsters. But Chiyoko wasn't like that. Neither was her father, as she hugged him. Neji was shocked though as he saw Naruto. In the flashback, Neji had asked him who he was now. However, Naruto explained it for him. He was Naruto, and he was Chiyoko's father. He was a being without a name, but now he was named Naruto. He told the both of them that he would explain everything to them soon enough. Why he disappeared and what happened to him all those years ago. However, there were things that had to be done. Neji watched as Naruto executed countless others in the clan. Even branch members that had soloed their own, and enjoyed doing so in order to benefit from the main members. Naruto had eradicated every single one of them, but not all main members were killed. Only a handful was left alive, a handful that had spared or saw it good to help the branch members. Hayashi was alive. Neji didn't understand why Naruto had left him alive. That is when Naruto let Neji know what truly happened that day. His father Hisashi was not forced. Yes, Hayashi's father, who Naruto had executed, wanted to force Hisashi, his son, as well. But Hayashi would not go for that. As much as Hayashi was cold, most of that came from his wife, death. Yes, most of it came from her death, which Naruto recently found out that this was done because they believed that he was getting soft. Hayashi had locked himself away in his studies as Naruto had told him that, to make him understand why many members in the clan need to die, because his own father had been the one to conspire to kill his, daughter-in-law. Hayashi was shocked and locked himself away. Many of the branch members wanted him dead as well, believing that he was a problem, but Naruto had shut that down immediately. None of them were in the position to question him. As great as his power was, one would say that he was simply taking the role of the main member and secluding them, but that was not the case. As they were all told to gather, yes, every single one of them were told to gather up. As Naruto and Neji were making their way down the hall, the mark on Neji's head had disappeared after Chiyoko had infused him with her power. It simply ceased to exist there. As Naruto walked, with this new stride in his step, he walked like a man that has experienced it all, which he has. He's watched countless planets rise and fall because of their internal problems. He wasn't about to allow that to happen to this planet, as there was a lot that he had to do. Yes, so much. Naruto entered in the room, as a handful of main members stood there as well. As he cleared his throat, I know that many of you are confused. But not only that, angry, because standing there is a people that you've come to hate over the years, that has made you seem like less of a human, but not these ones. As you have noticed, I have executed countless main members and several branch members as well. They were what was rotten in this clan, corrupting this clan. Some of you are angry at my actions against the branch members. However, my actions are solid and I will not justify what I did. They were the corruption that needed to be weeded out. And if there's going to be any future of this clan, things are going to have to change. First of all, no more branch members, no more main members. This clan will be led as one. And also, no more slave markings. I shall break you all free from the shackles that bind you. Naruto raised his hand as his chakras started to become visible. And they weren't even using their Byakugan, some of them were shocked. It fired like needles, slamming in the head. However, the force did not harm them, not even in the slightest. They watch. Before they reach up and touch their forehead, all that it was now was ink. No longer are you bound to a mark. No longer are you susceptible to death by a mark. This is where we begin. This is where I change everything, said Naruto. As he stepped forward, I know most of you think that I would lead out the clan, but I'm afraid that that is not my place. And now many of you are wondering what is going to happen or who will take the position as clan head. However, the person is not yet ready, said Naruto. He stepped forward. You can come in now, he said. Stepping in was a very shy and nervous Hinata Hyuga. A shocked look was on all of their faces. They were confused. I know what is going through your mind right now. Why her? Given her timid state. And not to mention, if I said that we would be lead as one, why would I put a former main member? But it is nothing like that. This girl that stands here right now is the only one out of everyone here that has the true benefit of this clan on her mind. Even before any of this was done, she wanted the betterment of every single one of you. She never put herself in this. All she wanted to do was bring prosperity and peace to her clan. Something that she went to night on many occasions crying for. And she's the only one that can lead this clan properly. I will be the one to train and tutor her. And I will make her a prominent leader of this clan. And then, it will be up to all of you to judge Her actions, if they are rightful, and if she's turned this clan into something that can be presentable, that is no longer a backstabbing, heartless place where people see others as slaves or where people see others as monsters. It will be up to all of you to see what she has to bring. Hinata was extremely nervous. When she saw this man arrive, she was scared. Yes, she was scared. However, on closer inspection, she realized he looked just like Naruto but older. She was confused until he smiled at her. The only one that ever smiled at her like that was Naruto. She was truly shocked. Given Naruto's actions with her father, she believed, after hearing about his action of executing members, she thought that her father was going to die. But Naruto did not kill him though. He spared him. Her father was in his studies. She had passed by on several occasions as he was simply quiet, not really doing anything inside, just quiet. However, the last time she passed by, she heard quiet sniffling. She wanted to believe that she was hearing things, but she did hear them. Her father was crying. She was absolutely shocked, beyond her wildest imagination. Her father, Hayashi Hyuga. Tears. That was not something she would ever thought she would ever live to see. However, there was no mistaking it. He was actually crying. A surprising realization. If ever there was one, the most shocking this one was. Time skip. Kaguya emerged out of one of the many houses as she saw him standing there waiting on her. His eyes were closed as she looked at every inch of him. He was taller than her. Even from here she could tell that he was not a normal person, and far above what normal was. With just a glance alone, she could feel the dominating presence that was coming from him without him even being aggravated at all. As he opened his eyes, however, he seemed so gentle. He seemed so kind. It was confusing. "You're Naruto Otsutsuki," she said. "Call me Naruto Hyuga. Or you can just call me Naruto," he said to her. "It seems my buildup of power shattered your seal, because it felt your presence and tried to get through, and the seal wasn't strong enough to restrain it. But I wanted to talk to you about your desires," he said to her. "My desires?" She looked at him a bit confused. "In the process of your release, all knowledge around the surrounding area was brought to me, including yours," said Naruto. "So you read my mind," she said to him. "Not on purpose," he said. "Walk with me." Kaguya started to walk alongside him. "You came to this planet in order to return the fruit back to your house leader. However, something that you yearned for countless years you finally saw. It was in your possession. So you struck down your partner and you came to the leader of a very powerful land. He saw you as someone that needed help. He took you in. You found something that you never thought you would actually find. You saw many others went through this, but you never thought you would find it yourself. Emotions for Otsutsuki is hard, isn't it?" said Naruto. "Don't worry, I already know," he said. "Chiyoko has informed me about the others, and they are nothing like what Chiyoko is. As for her siblings, they also show emotions a lot before they were taken away from me. However, the others, because of no one being there to properly guide them, they turn into coal machines that see nothing in this life except for power. And you were one of them, but you saw a way to get out of it, and you grabbed onto it and you never release. and you found that happiness until the world took it away from you. They came to see you as an enemy, and your actions of not having emotions for those that you do not care about led to you being hunted because of the pack that the man that you come to fall for sign. Even at your demise, he was unwilling to break that pack because he knew the repercussion. You lost faith, losing touch in love right there. You were upset, so you did what they taught you were a taboo. You took the unfinished fruit and you devoured it. And you gained powers beyond your wildest imagination. And you changed everything, even sealing away the man that you came to love after you gave birth to his children. You knew they would come because you eat the fruit. And you knew once they did, they would try to kill you. So you started to build your army, slowly using the people of the world as they were nothing but pawn as you shut your heart once again off. Even now, your desire to regain all chakra is still coursing through your mind, isn't it? Naruto looked at her. She did not speak. Do not worry, it is not your fault. The fruit that you devoured, it was the essence of the people and their chakra, which slowly started to corrupt your mind. You were never supposed to devour it in its whole, maybe in small quantities. That is why the leader of your house believed in the same arrogance that chakra belongs to him. All of the Otsutsukis that devour the whole fruit believe that none of you were built to ever consume that much chakra. The one that built you was my daughter. She never wanted any of this for you. She wanted to create life like I did. I allow her and the others free roam to go over the galaxy and the universe in order to obtain knowledge and understanding. She saw countless families and she wanted to have that. So she created the first of your kind, said Naruto. But she was struck down before she could ever witness your people's birth. Kaguya turned as Naruto's hand was now resting on her chest. She did not even see him move as he took something out of her. It was see-through and glowing. It was the same fruit that she devoured, but it wasn't physical. It was like chakra. He crushed it in his palm. Do not worry. Everything is still the same. But now, your mind isn't a lot more clear, said Naruto. Kaguya blinked as she looked at him. His words were truthful. Her mind felt light. Her mind was always heavy with the knowledge of consuming. Just to consume. She thought that all of these thoughts were hers, but she was wrong. They were the thriving hunger of the fruit to devour and to consume, because when his daughter created the first seed, it was to absorb countless power inside of it, because she could not bring life into reality like he did. And Kaguya devoured that fruit. And it was doing the same thing to her, for her to consume, for her to absorb. But now, all of that was gone. Your loss. She simply nodded her head as emotions started to well up inside of her. Information in her mind. Her sons. Her actions, because she was too stubborn. She wanted all chakra, to consume all chakra. Naruto rested a hand on her shoulder as Kaguya was shocked when the water dropped on her hand. Otsutsukis shouldn't be able to cry. Emotions of tears were not something that they were ready to do. Not something that they were created for. But yet here she was, tears in her eyes. Because of her actions, she was sealed away, never meeting her grandchildren. She fought her own son for a chakra. And now, she lost everything because of those actions. And she could not stop it. She was not forcing herself to cry, did she wanted to, but her body was reacting in that way. I know you're feeling things right now that you were never used to feeling. Allow me to guide you, to help you back to a common state, to help you through this. Kaguya looked up as she had to cling on to something, a life force, a rope, something to bring her back in. Because her body, her mental state. Otsutsukis were never supposed to feel this way. They were never supposed to have these feelings. And now, they were breaking down every single part of her. However, she felt a soothing feeling as she looked toward his hand that was glowing. The feeling felt like this overwhelming cloak, this warm blanket that wrapped around her, that was keeping her safe from everything. Time skip. Neji, Chiyoko, and Kaguya were seated. Kaguya had been through a lot. It has been over 14 hours since her and Naruto had talked. Through this time, Naruto had shown her the good and the bad. Humanity was flawed. However, they needed help. It didn't mean that they needed to be controlled or used. Everything was flawed, even herself. Nothing was truly perfect, absolutely nothing. Her actions were governed by the source and the hunger of something that she could never have hoped to control. So she should not blame herself for the actions that she took. Kaguya was confused. It wasn't about herself anymore, it was about him. How could he be the first being of their kind to step into reality? She had to ask him if it was because of Naruto Hyuga why he was this sentimental, why he was this caring. However, it was not. He still remembered himself as Naruto Hyuga, but even before this, he chose a path. And that is the reason why everything went wrong. She was confused by that, but he promised that he would tell them later. So now here they were. I'm sure that after hearing what Chiyoko had to say, you're curious what happened to me when I fought my son. All of you are, said Naruto, as he sat down in front of the three of them. That battle was something that Shibai could have never won. Even at nowhere close to my full power, I was still too powerful for him. He wouldn't have stand a chance against me. However, Shibai did something. Shibai got tricked into something that I could not have foreseen. Chiyoko was confused. He got tricked into something, she said. Yes. He got tricked into something by someone that was as powerful as myself. Chiyoko and Kaguya looked shocked. After knowing what she knew now, Kaguya couldn't believe it. And Neji, after Chiyoko had informed him of what her father was like and the power that he used to wield, he himself was also shocked. I don't understand, father. The power that you wield, you are the strongest in the entire universe. How was that even possible? Balance, Naruto said. I've always told you that the universe always had to have balance. Naruto held his hand up as a flat, rectangular, white, around a few inches apart. It was like a table without legs appeared. He held his hand up as coins appeared in his hand. He put two on one side and one on the other. It tilted to where the two was. Balance is always needed in the universe. as he dropped another coin, and it was perfectly still. It doesn't matter what happened throughout the universe. Even if it is man-made, the world itself will always compensate and fix the problem. Goodness must always have darkness. Night must always have day. I was brought into this universe as a being with power that was above everything else, that was unbound by time itself, that was unbound by the fragment of the universe. So the universe had to strike back. The tree that brought me into this world, the tree of all life, this was something that never connected with it. Something more twisted, something more dark. It was my fault and my actions that led to the creation of this thing. What do you mean? Said Neji. When I was first brought, my actions were to just watch and oversee. However, I started to see more and more other races, other beings, families and friends. And I wanted some like myself. The moment I created Shibai, I became a creator. So the universe had to find balance. And then there was the destroyer. A resonant force of evil that was brought into the fabric of the universe. I could not sense it. It could not sense me. Our power was the very antithesis of each other, against each other. It was destiny for us to meet, to destroy each other, and with the both of us going away, once again balance would be brought forward. However, the tree that gave me life, it didn't just stop there. My body was meant to become a source of perfectness. So even if there was another, my strength was always supposed to rise above. I was getting stronger and stronger. The knowledge I consumed, I was becoming beyond the level of even gods. My power was spreading. I was growing more and more. The multiple times that I vanished for, years upon years, I consumed knowledge across the vast universe, just like that. This thing knew that it wasn't growing as fast as I was, despite the fact that I could not sense it and it could not sense me. We knew something was wrong. However, I believe I could not be bested by anything, so I did not focus on that feeling. It used Shibai, anger, for what I did next when I created you, Chiyoko, and your siblings. It feed his anger. It made his anger so wild that it lashed onto it. It gave Shibai powers that he could only dream of. Powers that he never thought he would ever reach, and that made him even more angry. When he found out about what your sister was doing, he immediately went for the kill, without even thinking. And he did the same to your other siblings. When I arrived and I took him away, I was angry at his actions, and that is when I saw it. The power festering inside of him. We fought. His power was greater than I could have ever imagined. I never expected his power to grow to such heights. But even then, I clearly had the edge. But I could not do it. I could not strike Shibai down, because that was the only way to kill the festering darkness inside of him, this entity that I brought in the universe by creating you all. But I could not kill Shibai, so I was going to trap and seal the both of us away, hoping that my actions would lead to him seeing the errors of his ways. I placed a condition on my very life that would stop Shibai from ever harming another Otsutsuki. It didn't matter what they were created from. He could never harm another. Chiyuko's eyes widened as she now understood why he never tried to strike her down. My actions was able to trap and seal this thing away. My power had imploded upon itself. That was the only way to do it. And to also seal my very essence away as well. I had to basically destroy myself. But my essence was not something I could destroy. So I trapped it. However, it seems like the blast, it sent my essence straight towards this planet a very long time ago, where it had lay trapped away in that underground facility that it created by itself. Even without my mind, my essence was still a very powerful source. It seems like all the conflicts and wars that happened, the Third Great Shinobi War, that was the final one to take the cake. My essence spat something out. A small, weaker version of myself, trying to gather my essence back together, my mind and my power. However, my mind was truly lost because I remember nothing about who I actually was. And I was found by Hiruzen Sarutobi and became a part of the Hyuga clan, said Naruto. So that is what happened. Neji had a fearful look on his face. You said everything need a balance. So that means, now that you know who you are, know that you're back. Yes, said Naruto. The darkness, it's awake. What does that mean? For everything, Kaguya said. I mean, the last time, you said you had to literally destroy yourself. To stop it, can it not be truly stopped? She asks, looking at Naruto. It is the very opposite of me. Because of my actions, it does not possess a true form. It has to take over someone in order to become a true threat. And the both of us cannot sense each other. And from what I saw when I first laid eyes on it, I don't think it can be sensed by anything else either. It's like darkness itself, like a simple shadow that would not set off any alarms, even if it was standing in this very room. So how, Chiyoko said, how are we going to stop something like that? We aren't. I'm going to, said Naruto. When I fought it, when I was what I was back then, I never truly understand balance, the true harmony of what it means to be, not me. I've always been a powerhouse. Power so great that I was never lacking of anything. I never understood any struggles. I never understood what it meant to be weak. And now, I have lived for the past couple of years in this life. It was a blessing. It allowed me to understand what it meant to be an actual human. Does that mean you know how to defeat it this time? Neji asks. Yes, Naruto said. But how, Neji said, as Naruto looked towards him. Don't worry yourself about that. I got it handled, he said, as he turned towards Chiyoko. He got up as he placed a hand on her head. This time, I won't leave, he said. Time skip. Both Naruto and Kaguya stood on the monument. The world is still broken, she said, her gaze sweeping over the nation. I know, said Naruto. I intend to fix it before I leave it behind. I never asked, she said, looking at him. Are you going to go there and rule over them? No, said Naruto, but I am going to pay them a visit to stop all the internal wars that are taking place. It won't be easy though. They won't be able to understand as quick as you did. As he turned to face her, I was wondering if you wanted to join me. Kaguya blinked as she looked at him. You want me to come with you? Yes, said Naruto. You spend most of your life going on missions for them, being used as a sacrifice. And the one time that you finally decide to put yourself first, things did not end in your favor. However, The universe is vast and unending, and I intend to bring balance to it. How, she said. There are countless planets out there, in my time, that were filled with warmongers. They rise. I watched their civilization turn from nothing into something, and I had to wipe them out. I've been gone for a very, very long time. What the Otsutsukis and what you and the others have been able to traverse and see, I assure you it's nothing to what is truly out there. However, I am the only one that can open up the gap to allow you to see what is beyond. And I can say that some of it is truly amazing, while some is filled with nothing but darkness and chaos. And as powerful as I am, I was struck with emotions before and now. After living the life of Naruto Hyuga, I understand them even more. That is why I even began to start my own kind. That is why I even created Shibai. Traveling the vast unending lands can become quite lonely, he said to her. At first, Kaguya thought that his interest in her was something of one being attracted to another spouse. But now she realized that she was completely wrong. He saw her as a child. Well, given what he was, and given how long he has existed for, she supposed that was valid. But now she could see it clearly though. Strangely enough, she looked up to him. Well, he was her ancestor, even though her bloodline was much more weaker. I assume that Chiyoko will be accompanying us. Kaguya asks. Yes, said Naruto. Just as she thought, he saw her as a child. That is the same way he looked at Chiyoko despite her being a fully grown adult. I know what you have been through has been a lot on you. This way, you can clear your mind and not focus on the past. I know that it will take a long time, but time doesn't really matter now, does it? Well, she said. The chakra pills. I know about those, said Naruto. There is nothing to worry about, he said. First of all though, I want to fix this world. Even as we speak, there's a lot of war going on. Smaller countries fighting against each other for land, and all sorts of things. I intend to fix it all, said Naruto. I thought of this place as my nursery for a very long time. I would like to see it finally come to peace. A peace that will stand, she said. I see now that my way was never the right way. But I can change my ways now. Now that my mind is clear to truly see what is important, I too want to make a change, she said to him. As Naruto smiled, looking over the area. Time skip. Here she was, the 5th Hokage of the village, returning to become that title, of course. Tsunade Senju. Walking through the gate, Many was happy to see her. Alongside her was Mito, and Jiraiya as well. Mito had been through a lot, as she came across a group known as the Akatsuki. And it turns out that Sasuke's older brother was a part of this group, and Sasuke showed up. For the month that they went away, Naruto was fixing the structure of the Hyuga clan, as the clan had changed a lot. A lot of old rules had been torn down. A lot of new ones has been placed up as well. And Hinata was being prepared to take over her clan, the one that Naruto had chosen. As for her father, him and Naruto had a conversation. Flashback. Hayashi finally left his quarters, as he came to pay Naruto a visit. Naruto looked up as the man was standing there. He could see the look on his face. Why didn't you end my life? Hayashi asked. I was as much a part of the problem as anyone else. Why did you allow me to live? Well, Neji, for the longest time, blamed you for his father's death. However, I knew Hisashi rather well, and I always heard him speak about making your own fate, choosing your own destiny. When I placed my hand on your head in the council meeting, I targeted that memory. and I saw what truly happened. But it wasn't only that. And now that you realize that your own father conspired against you and had your wife killed, I can feel your emotions from here. It has been a trying couple of days for you, hasn't it? I can feel your pain, said Naruto. Your heart was never in it. All you wanted was just to make your clan great, and if it meant shutting off your emotions to do so. But each time you watch your daughter fail, it chipped away at your soul. It ripped you apart piece by piece because you knew that she would be forced to face the same burden as the branch members. However, because of clan politics, there was nothing that you can say, and you couldn't afford to look weak. They might revolt against you and believe that you're not fit to lead, and you knew the position that you wield, you had more say to make sure that she was safe even if she was marked. However, that is no longer a problem because no one else would ever get marked in this clan, said Naruto. So if you're wondering why you're still alive, that is the reason. There is still time. Things are different now. Your daughters are here. Show them the man you could be. Show them the father that they actually need. Supportive, healthy, be there for them, and guide them to make responsible choices as the future heads of this clan. Hayashi stood there for a long moment before he spoke. What happened to you truly, he asks. How did you become this insightful? You're like a completely different person, but at the same time, you are Naruto Hyuga. Naruto walked over towards him. I'll tell you some other time. For now, there's something I have to do. End of flashback. Tsunade Senju, after visiting the hospital, find herself standing within the Hokage's office. She hasn't gone to talk to the counselor or anything yet. She was just standing there, gazing outwards. That little girl had gave her something that she thought that she lost. Hope. Mito. It was a good thing that Jiraiya had brought her, for the exact reason why he thought she would be needed. And now here Tsunade was. She heard someone clear their throat behind her as she turned. She saw him, and she could immediately tell that it was him, the one that everyone was talking about, including Mito. She was talking about him a lot. Let me guess. You're the huge talk of the town, even outshining me returning here. Well, I wouldn't say that is a competition, said Naruto. However, we do need to have a conversation. While that was going on, a far distance away, Neji could be seen. His Byakugan was activated as he was watching Naruto talking to the new Hokage. A distance away at the unknown location, Neji Hyuga could be seen, tied up, his hands shackled by chains. As he was out like a light, he was unconscious. If that was Neji, then who the hell was that at Konoha? Back at the village, the person stood there as they watched Naruto. He had Neji's face. He had his memories. It had to be Neji, right? So why were there two of him? As Neji smiled, watching Naruto speak with the Hokage, that is when his wide pupilless eyes became dark and soulless as his smile increased. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. And yeah guys, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.
"一人じゃ危険すぎる。わしはコロハの3人だぞ。